Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm Mama Loves UGB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram as well and on Etsy. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is FlossTube number I forgot to look, but it is definitely the 7th of November. So welcome along to the morning briefing. How's everyone's week been? It's been 2 weeks since I've been here. I really missed it last week. I really missed it to the point where I actually thought, even just with the bits and pieces that I'd taken to the Cotswolds, I had enough to do it, and then I was like, no, just take a week's break, and it's done the power of good. Not just the FlossTube, not doing that last week, but just the week's break of half term. We packed in so many things, which in hindsight probably wasn't the best thing to do. We should have had a good rest, but we went to Llanelli, I think I told you about that. We went to Bristol to go to the heady heights of IKEA and Costco, and then we went to Birmingham to the Sea Life Centre. We went, did an adventure course for Halloween. We went trick-or-treating. We went to a Halloween party. It was lovely. It was lovely. So it was a much needed break. I'm sad I missed a Halloween show, especially since the Crafty Stitchers did such a good job with their Halloween show. I really felt I should have been there with a hat and on my channel doing the whole Halloween bit, but never mind, never mind. I've got so much to show you. You knew that was going to happen, right? You knew that was going to happen. If I take a week off, there's just so much here to show you. I've got the things that I've been stitching on. I've got quite a bit of haul. I've got a few floss cards and other Stitchy Kindness. I have got a couple of things where it gives you a discount code for things that I'm going to show you. I've got a little freebie to give away. I've got a freebie chart for everyone to show anyway. So much stuff, so much stuff. So before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to all the people who've subscribed to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome along. I hope that you choose to stick around. I hope you find something you like. Yeah, let's get started. Firstly, it is officially Black Sampler November, and judging by my Instagram feed, everyone is absolutely loving Black Sampler November. Whatever you decide to stitch, there is so much going on with Black Sampler November. Some people have started small things that they're going to finish within the month. Some people have started big things that they're never going to finish. Me, probably, being one of those. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I have seen so many people who have chosen to stitch Nessie, and that is just making my heart sing. Every time I see her on Instagram, when somebody tags me in a post, I'm just like, there she is out in the wild. And so yeah, I'm so delighted to see her out and about in the wild, and I'm so pleased that so many of you love her and have decided to stitch her this month. So my Black Sampler November. I've said for ages that this was going to be my Black Sampler November, Anne Grimshaw, and she's been a little bit of a nemesis for me. I think I have started her before this month. I think I've started her 4 times. I've started her twice this month, and I think I'm finally happy. So for those of you who haven't seen her, she is by the Scarlet Letter, and she's big. She is a big girl, hence my comment about possibly never finishing her, although I have been a little bit addicted to her. So if you decide to do on 40 count, you're going to be looking at 16.5 by 21.5, and 35 count is 18.75 by 24.5. So she is large. And I will show you my 2 starts on her. My first start, I've been showing this for months, that I picked out some 40 count linen. This is Cafe au Lait, and I decided that I was going to stitch her using Silks for You black. So I put my Silks for You on this lovely little floss minder, which came from Deborah Darling on Etsy, and I'll link her below. Me wee donkey. I tell you what, this sample, it definitely was Jesus, Mary, Joseph and the wee donkey. And this is my start. Now I chose to start her at the bottom because I've started her at the top quite a few times, so I chose to start at the bottom this time. I think of my 4 or 5 starts, I've started her 3 times at the top and twice at the bottom. So this was my start, and it's blowing out a little bit on 40 count. Nothing wrong with it, you might say. But the one thing I think I know now that I've decided is that I want her to be black. I really want her to be black, and that is black, and it's using black thread. But I very much felt, because it was just one strand, it wasn't black. It was kind of a dark grey. And so I'd done sort of an hour maybe on her, and I knew I was having second thoughts already, and I was like, you cannot start a sampler that's going to be that big if you're having second thoughts a third of the way through the first motif. It's not going to work. So I basically scoured all my favourite shops to see who had a big piece of 36 count and what colour they had it in, because you need a fat half if you're going to do it on 36 count, unless you get a custom cut. And what I found from Peakside was a fat half of 36 count vintage country mocha. And I knew I didn't want to use the vintage side, but I have several times before used what is technically the back of vintage country mocha, which I guess is just mocha. And so that's where I've started. So I have started her on the 36 count vintage country mocha. And I am using my favourite. I'm using the Sulky 12 weight in black, which is colour number 1005. Now, if anybody else has been following me on Instagram, you will know that I've got more to tell you about Sulky in a little bit. Quite a lot more to tell you about Sulky. So that is my black thread, and this is where I've got to with her. So sorry, I haven't ironed it. So I've gone all the way along the bottom. Obviously the motifs are not finished, but I've gone all the way along the bottom. And I think I'm going to go all the way around the outside and get my outer motifs in the right place first of all. Now, I was going to come up this side, but I've gone back and I'm going to go round this way because, and I don't know if it's been reproduced since and whether I've got a slightly older version of the chart. I do have the proper version of the chart. This is just my working copy stuck inside. But right at the end of the chart, which is obviously where I'm starting, and I'm going to try and show you, but obviously show you the very tiniest bit of the chart. Because it's an older chart, or mine is an older chart, let's do it that way. It almost looks like, in order to get it to fit on the page, they kind of cut and then almost stuck. So instead of doing it digitally, they did a kind of a cut and stick. And I don't know if you can see, but where the thick 10 lines are, one of them is almost a square different. So instead of trying to work it out and move all this back a square, what I decided to do was to work the other way round, and then by the time I get to it, everything else will hopefully be in the right place. So if you've got Anne Grimshaw, let me know if your chart looks like that or whether she looks like the newer charts, because I've got a new Scarlet Letter chart to show you as well. So that is Anne Grimshaw. I think what I'm going to have to do is every time I stitch on her, I'm going to have to get a pot next to my stitching chair and just put a pound in it every time I stitch on her, because otherwise the frame is going to be immense for her. She's a big girl. She's going to be a big girl to frame. But there we go. So that was my Black Sampler November start. I've had a couple of other starts. Yeah, a couple of other starts. I got a bit of startitis as well. I was kind of a bit unsettled, so I got a bit of startitis. So I've started a couple of other things, one of which I've nearly half finished. I've also got a bit of secret stitching on the go. I'm part of an exchange, which I'm super excited about. So a Christmas exchange. So I can't wait to finish that up and get it in the post. The deadline is approaching. So the second thing I started, just gonna smooth it out a little bit, was a design by the SnowFlower Diaries called Red Scissors, and this just absolutely struck me as soon as I saw it. So I'm going to put a little picture up of it because I haven't got the cover sheet, and I just knew I wanted to stitch it and make it into a drum. So that's where I am. I'm stitching it on 32 count, something that I dyed myself, just a neutral colour that I dyed myself. And I'm using the Silks For You red, and I don't know if I've got a decent, yeah, there's a bit there. It's a beautiful, beautiful red, and if you've never stitched with Silks For You, it is amazing to stitch with. And I've just got to mirror the other side, and then I'm going to make it into a drum. The called for thread is Buckeye Scarlet, and I would say the Silks For You gives you a very similar level of variegation, and I do my crosses full cross, so I do the full cross rather than doing one leg and then coming back, so I'm kind of getting the maximum amount of variegation out of my threads. If I wanted it a bit less variegated, using 2 strands, what I could do is take a single strand and loop it over and start with a loop method. So I'd have sort of 2 different colours of red on the same stitch, and that would make it so it's not quite so variegated, but I really like it as it is. So that was Red Scissors by the SnowFlower Diaries, and they're on Etsy. Love that, love that. I have done a good bit more actually on my unicorn, which is this one, and To All a Good Night. Now I don't know, and don't take it as I do know, because I'm not in the know, but I saw Tricks or Treat was being republished, so I'm hopeful that they might republish that sometime soon. Well, at least sometime, because it's such a gorgeous chart, and I feel sad showing you my scrumpled up little piece, but that's where I am on that one. The red's the brickwork's a little bit more red than it's showing there. So this is a piece of 30 count, is it Abecedarian? Yeah, Abecedarian by R&R. It's a really long, whoops, needle going through both halves. It's a really long, thin piece that I got when somebody was doing a D-stash, so it's going to fit perfectly on that and still leave me some to finish up. So I'm not using the called for on this, I'm just going by threads that I've got that seem to look similar to the front, because as I said before, it's quite an old chart now, so I'm not really sure if the called for threads would still look the same anyway. So I'm just going with making it up as I go along, which I quite like doing. I quite like making it up as I go along. But I can tell you the 2 main colours that I've used so far are take that random bit off there. The Gentle Art Tin Bucket, which is what I've used for the roof and the windowsills, and it's a nice grey with some good bits of kind of beigey browning. And then my favourite for the brickwork is another Silks For You. Try and take it out the bag without showing you what a rat's nest it looks like. Is PRO67, and that's a really nice warm, warm brown, sort of like a really mahogany colour with all the kind of colours of that you would find in mahogany. So that's where I am with that one. Where else have we got to? I started, and it's probably the most abysmal start ever. The reason you find I start a lot of things is because when I filmed a FlossTube, what I tend to do is, because it's a spare room, after I've filmed, I literally just walk out. And so, of course, all my current projects are upstairs, and so I find myself downstairs going, what can I stitch on? And quite often, by my chair is a new start, so I end up starting it. So, October's party, and so I did start this in October. I thought, well, if you're not going to start it in October, when are you going to start it? And I have got, I'll try and hold it up a bit for you, the tiniest little start. October gave a party, and that's it. So this is a piece of, that's a good question, Fibre on a Whim 36 count cream and sugar, and that's a really good kind of definition of the colour. It's blowing out a little bit, I don't know quite where my lighting is at the moment, but so it started anyway. How much more I'll do on it before Christmas really strikes me, I'm not sure. I'm starting to get kind of Christmas itchings, which sounds like a bit of a horrible disease, but you know what I mean. It's starting to get a bit sort of looking forward to doing some Christmas. And then the last thing that I have been stitching on is my Modern Folk Embroidery, the Little Bird Quaker sampler. And I've always liked this one because it reminds me of Anne Grimshaw. I've always liked it. And I started it on a piece of 36 count something or other, Winter Moon by Zygar. And I've done not too bad on her. So let me just, there we go. Now the reason I've kind of worked down is because I wanted to do the letters in a slightly different colour. So the top part, I don't know if it's how well it's going to show up, is an orange, and I'll show you that in a minute. The middle part is going to be a red, and then it's going to go back to the orange at the top. And, oh, excuse me, the two colours that I'm using are, let me just take that one off because that was a possibility that I never ended up using, are Chili Pepper, which is one of my absolute favourite colours to use, and I'm doing one strand on this, and the red is a Cranberry. Now I appreciate in this light you probably can't really tell. Got a piece of paper. You probably can't really tell much the difference between the two. No, you can't. But honestly, they do show different just enough to have those letters as a different colour band. So it's all about the Quakers for me this month, it seems to be. Right, I'm going to show you the freebie now, just because we've been talking about Black Sampler November. And this is the one that I have chosen just for today. This is called May Peace Abide, and this is by Heartstrings Samplery, and it is their contribution to Black Sampler Month, and I just thought that was just so lovely. I love the fabric that it's been done on. I was just going to see if Beth says anywhere what fabric it was. Farm Eggs by XD Designs. So there we go. And I've actually got a very similar fabric that I could use. I don't know if you've watched my special edition where I did walnut dyeing. In one of them I spray some fabric with a walnut dye, and I'm quite happy to let it drip on, and that gives a very similar appearance to that. So if you like that fabric and you wanted to know how to recreate it, if you go on to that special edition FlossTube, it's sometime from last year now, so you have to go scroll back quite a way, but it is there, it is there. Right, that is everything that I've got for my stitching at the moment. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Right, let's have a look and see what I've got in my haul and what I've got in my floss drops, gifts, things like that. I've got quite a few things to show you. I'm going to start off with the floss drops, and I'm going to hope that I've kept things in a good order. So these first ones, let me just make sure, yeah. These first ones came from Patty. Now, I will have a look and see if anywhere I have got Patty's Instagram name. But she sent me those, which have got these kind of gorgeous sunflowers with stitching at the bottom, you can see on the sort of table. And she also sent me, which I was absolutely bowled over by, this gorgeous handmade glass pendant. You could put it on with your flosses, you could wear it, what you could wear as a pendant, you could put it on with your flosses, you could put it as a bag charm, but it's absolutely this gorgeous, gorgeous, I say pumpkin, could be a tomato, does she say? Does she say? Pumpkin, it is a pumpkin. And it is definitely, yeah, it's definitely more orange. There we go, gorgeous. Put it back in the box, there we go. What else did I get? Who else did I get floss drops from? I got some of these. There we go, from Diana. And that's Diana's contact information there on the back. I love those. And she sent me a lovely card as well. I got these from Noelle. And that's Noelle's information. And those are her gorgeous floss drops. Does she say who it is? No, no, but gorgeous. And then I got some of these as well. And it says, "See Jane run home. Jane wants to stitch. Hurry, Jane, hurry." Now I saw on Brenda and Laura's episode, Laura designated these as her most favourite ones. And these ones come from Janice. And again, have I got, not to hand, but I will put the contact information for Janice underneath. There we go. So thank you to everybody for those. And I received these in the post as well. So these are from Kayla Pins. That's her contact information there. And she makes stickers. So she sent me these stickers. So these ones, you can just see where the outline of the sticker is on there. These ones, well, these are right up my alley, aren't they, the school ones. And then all these gorgeous ones with the rickrack and the other ribbon, and little red hen and friends pins and thrifts. So she has sent me another set to post out. So if you would like these, if you can just use the word, let's go hen. That's not going to crop up anywhere else today, I don't think. So let's go for hen, H-E-N, in your comments, and I will post these out to you. You can be anywhere in the world, that's fine. That's just a fairly simple little envelope, so that can go anywhere. And she also said that, and she's got an Etsy shop which has stickers, vintage textiles, clothing, stationery, ephemera. There is a 10% code off for everybody till the end of the year. So it's Mama GB, MAMA-GB, and I'll put that on the screen so you can see what it is. So if you go to her Etsy store, and I will put the contact information down below, then you can grab some of those stickers for yourself, or you can enter using the word hen and I will send you them if you win. Hey! Thank you so much for that, Kayla. And then another lovely gift that I've received is from Megan at Meloca Designs. And I'm sure you've seen Meloca Designs before. They're the design group behind these beautiful mandalas. I'm going to take that out of the packet because there's a lot of glare. I think the whole shooting match is coming out with it. Never mind, we can look through everything. So that's her newest design, and she's got loads of these mandalas, and she does needle minders as well, and she's offered everybody again a 10% discount off her newest design, which is the lion, the kit and the needle minder. You can get 10% off, and there's the 10% code I will put across the screen as well. And it's beautiful. So the chart is let me just check, I'm sure it is, yeah, full colour chart, and then you get the Ada to do it on and all the pre-sorted gorgeous threads. So if you like that and you want to check out the other designs, there's elephants, there's all sorts of different things I've seen on there, then go along to Meloca Designs. As I said, I'll put all the contact information below. If you fancy getting the lion or the needle minder or both, then you got 10% off. So thank you so much, Megan, for sending that to me. That was very kind of you. Right, we're on to haul now. There's no point me keep apologising every week. You know. I'm pushing on an open gate here, I think, with you guys. Half this stuff I've probably been inspired to buy because of you lot that watch, so just payback. Right, I'm going to start off in no particular order. I bought this piece of fabric on the secondary market. It's from the Crafty Kitten. It's called Sunlit Pool, and it's a 32 count. Now, I don't think anybody's getting anything from the Crafty Kitten at the moment. It hasn't officially closed down. The website isn't accepting orders, but yeah. So if you're looking for anything, or if you're buying it, it's probably going to be on the secondary market at the moment. So this is Sunlit Pool, and it is an absolutely gorgeous piece of fabric. Blues and greens and yellows. yeah, about there actually. It needs to come back a bit. There. And I can't wait to stitch on that. I'm still a little bit stuck in Halloween. And so, yeah, that might end up with a few Halloweeny things on it. What else have I got here? Oh, this was another stitchy gift. So Van, who I think she always signs herself as Van. Her name's Linda, but aka Van Mom on Instagram, sent me a couple more little snaps for the top of the little purses, because she saw I'd got another one of the little thimble purses, so she sent me another couple of those, and then she also sent me another little thing to go in the little junk journal that she made me as well. So thank you very much for those. What else have I got? Oh, I bought this. Now, this is a little confession as well, and I didn't actually realise I had to confess it, or had it to confess, should I say. I bought this, which is the Saltbox Quilt sampler, from a lady on eBay, and it turns out when she sent it to me, I've sold something to her before in the past, so and she put, there's a few threads in there with it as well, not all of them, but a few of them. And I ordered this, and I was thinking to myself, Brenda Gervais and With Thy Needle and Thread, I've got loads of their charts, and then I actually looked at my whip list to see how many I've got on the go, and I don't think there's anything on my whip list that's Brenda Gervais. Maybe one thing. And then I actually looked at my finishes for this year. I finished nothing by Brenda Gervais. And then I looked at my finishes for last year, and I finished one thing. I stitched one thing by Brenda Gervais, which is the collector pillow. I don't know if you can see, it might be a bit that way, might be a bit further that way. So that is my 2022 plan. I was actually just trying to remember what year we're in. That is my 2022 plan. I need to stitch more Brenda Gervais. How on earth do I not have multiple whips by Brenda Gervais? So this may get started very, very soon, because I've got quite a good lot of the threads to start with. What else have I got? I bought a little bit of fabric. I don't know if this is going to be too dark to see actually. It's a very dark blue. A little bit of dark blue fabric, which has got some ravens on it, which I thought would be lovely because I've got a few raveny type things that I want to stitch. So I saw it and I thought, well, I'll get it at the time and then I'll have it. Yeah, I'll show you those in a minute. They're just a bit of fun. Now, I love Threadwork primitives, but they're actually one of the more difficult designers to get over here. If you find somebody's got one, they've normally got one or two. And so I went onto the website, onto Etsy, and they've got a lovely Etsy store, but they don't ship to the UK, unless you ask. So I had a good conversation with Nan Lewis, and she gave me a price to ship one chart, and I was like, well, one chart can't travel alone. How much is it to ship these 3 charts that I wanted? And so she shipped these 3 charts to me, and they came super, super quick. So I'm going to show you what I bought. I've still got others that I want to get because I really like their charts. So this one is called the Side by Side Sampler, and it's one of those ones you stitch on 2 different colours of fabric, obviously the same count, and then you stitch them together. And I love that. I think that looks really, really cool. And then this one I really like as well. This is called Never Fading. And I just love the alphabet on that. And I really like the fact that there's a bit of wool at the bottom there where they're displaying some buttons and some keys and things like that. I think that's great. So I bought that one as well. And then the third one that I got, which was the one I actually really went for, was this one called the Quaker block print. Now I've seen this finished in red and it looked amazing. It really looked amazing. But I quite fancied it in sort of like a greeny, tealy green, emerald green. So I bought a skein of Valdani. It's called Blackened Teal. H203 is the code. Let me just see if I can put it up against something. It's white so you can see the colour. So yeah, I'm going to do it in that colour. There we go. I also got this, which is the limited edition sampler for Hobby House Needleworks by Hands Across the Sea, and this is Rose Ada Featherstone. Now obviously Hobby House Needleworks are in the US, so when I went on to have a look, I sort of went on with the idea that I probably wouldn't be able to get it because the postage would be quite expensive. But obviously, and I should have realised this because exactly the same thing happened with one of the ones that Traditional Stitches in Canada did, is that if you order from the UK, your chart comes straight from Hands Across the Sea. It doesn't go over the pond and then come back again. So the shipping on this was $4 and it came straight from Nicola at Hands Across the Sea. So there's that one, and if you haven't seen, there is also on the back a little secondary one, Jane Elizabeth Milner. She's there, and this is the first one of these little booklets that I've had. I seriously could develop a real addiction to these little booklets. They're perfect. They're perfect. Because if you think about how much stitching, so on a page you've got about 60 by, what, 40? 60 by 40 is the size of the stitching on the page. So that is definitely accomplishable. So I can see quite easily working through these little pages. Usually I'm a border stitcher and then I fill in. But I think with those little pages it would be very easy to just set a page as a goal and then move on, move on, move on. What else have we got? What else have we got? I had a little order from Lakeside Needlecraft because I wanted some of these. So what I wanted was these. What I bought was a different thing. Some little Mill Hill beads. So not very exciting, I hear you say. These are glow in the dark Mill Hill beads. Now, we know that glow in the dark thread can be up there with the finest of the devil's backside hair threads. So I thought, what a fun way to add something to my Halloween stitches and to my Halloween pillows and things like that without having to use glow in the dark thread, which, as I said, is the devil's backside hair most of the time. So I bought a green, a white and a clear. Yeah, so I bought those, and then I bought another pair of these. Now I bought my first pair of these from Create Nostalgia and I loved them so much that when I saw they had them, I just added them to my order. Now, why do I love them so much? Because they're designed so that they've got 6 separate hold points. Sorry, just trying to find a sky hook to hang that on. 6 separate hold points. So they are literally really comfortable in whatever kind of direction you pick them up in and want to use them in. Okay, so these would be great, I guess, if you had some dexterity problems that maybe would mean that normal scissors were a bit more tricky, because these you can just grab and you can put your fingers wherever you feel comfortable holding them, and they're super sharp and super pointed. They come in 2 sizes, 4 1/4 no, 4.5 inches and 4 inches. So these are the 4-inch ones. So I've now got 2 pairs of these and I love them. Love, 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 love. They're just so tactile to hold, so tactile to hold. And the other thing I bought was the threads to go with Elizabeth Isles, which shipped from the Patchwork Rabbit. So that's Elizabeth Isles. So this is going to be the stitch along for Laura's big birthday, starting on the 1st of January. I'm planning, I think, on stitching the whole thing. I know Brenda is just planning on stitching the bird and making that into a drum. But I'm pretty confident I'm going to stitch the whole thing. And I went for the DMC. So this is the DMC and it only came today, so I've not had a chance to put it onto FlossStrings or anything like that. But the colours are just amazing. I've got that super lovely bright dark green, a bright dark green, and then blues, and then all of the kind of lovely earth tones. So I've just got to pick out some fabric for that, and then that will be ready to go on New Year's Day, which is fabulous. Now New Year's Day this year is on a Sunday. So that means not only do you get New Year's Day, you get the following day as well. So you get the Monday as a bank holiday. So that's technically 2 days for me to start this stitch along, which is marvellous. I also bought another pattern from Mama Witch Cross Stitch because she was having a little sale of her Halloween patterns. So I've loved that one. So can't wait to do that next year. Now I finished Pumpkin Gardener. And she's just released a Christmas one as well, and it's beautiful, beautiful. Couple more things, and I have got a new sampler to show you as well. An old, new sampler. Speaking of an old sampler, finally, and I say that tongue-in-cheek because I've been watching Anita stitch this from the Northumberland Sampler House, and I've been like, when's it coming out, when's it coming out, when's it coming out? This is Caroline Scott, 1821, and I have loved this from the moment she started stitching on it. And actually somebody asked me, am I going to switch the little dog for a Dalmatian? And I very well do. Either that or a black lab, because I had a black lab before, and Mary Clayton's got a Dalmatian in it, but I think it may end up being a Dalmatian because I think it would sit nicely on that grass there. And I bought the threads for that one. They came from Peakside when I ordered my piece of fabric for Grimshaw. There we go. So beautiful, beautiful colours in that. A couple of other little things to show you. You see, I shouldn't be left attended for 2 weeks. It's too long. Too long. In fact, no, I've got my whole box of Sulkies to show you as well. I picked these up on eBay because I just thought they were so much fun. It's 2 little vintage button cards with bingo. How cool are they? They were super, super cheap, but I just thought they were so lovely. I think they look really nice in a frame. Trip to IKEA was really good. IKEA have an absolute knack of having a billion items in their warehouse, except for the one that I've driven an hour and a half for. But there we go. I did pick up this, which is a glass and metal box. Still got the plastic on it. But I wanted to put strawberries in it. I thought it'd be nice to pile in all my strawberries. I've got the 12 Days of Christmas strawberries. I've got the Bristol Berries strawberries to do. I've got more strawberries than I can shake a stick at to do. I just need to do them. I just need to do them. Right, I've got two more things to show you. One is my new sampler and one is my massive box of Sulky threads. So I'm going to start off with my new sampler. And this was another shoe. Couldn't resist her. I could not resist her. This is Susanna Eccles, 1853. And I think I found her. There's not very many records of her. I don't know how easy she's going to be to get a really full picture of, but it was framed already in this beautiful, try not to get too much of a glare, beautiful rosewood frame, which I thought was fabulous because that's going to save quite a bit of cash rather than trying to frame her if I bought her loose. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, but she's got this lovely border, which is really, really simple. Oh, you're just getting the glare of me looking back at me plus the clutter in this room. And then, I don't know if I can, that's not going to work anyway, this beautiful vase of tulips in the middle, a funky bird, bowl of fruit, and then I've got a little blackbird in the corner here, and then, yeah, few other little doodads around the place, but mainly it's all about that bowl of tulips. And I love the fact that she started to write her name, Susanna, and then she's realised she's not got enough room, so she's just put the NA over there. And she was 8 in 1853. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'll show you the back. There we go. It does have a masking tape on the back, but that tape's been on there quite a long time. So she hasn't been out of her frame for quite some time. So it's going to be interesting to take her out and see what the colours look like on the back. But she has got, they are quite bright colours. So I'll see if I can take a better picture of her and put her on Instagram if you're interested in seeing her. Now, I'm going to put my 2 little videos on that I put on Instagram the other day, just in case you're not on Instagram. What you're going to see is the full range of the solid colours of Sulky thread. Now, you all know how much I love Sulky thread. So I'm going to show you the full range of the 130 colours. How amazing are they? I really wanted to put them all in one video, but my countertop was not long enough to put all 130 in one go. So I did the colours and then I did the more neutral ones. So why did I buy 130 colours of Sulky? Well, Nessie's done quite well, and I wanted something to kind of mark that. I wanted a treat to sort of thank Nessie. So I'd stitched her in Sulky. I love Sulky, and I wanted to, I just wanted them. And so they came, I got them delivered to school because they had to be signed for, and somebody walked off with my parcel. I went to get them, I was like, I saw on my phone they'd been delivered. I was like, right, they've been delivered, I'm going to get them from the office. And they weren't there. I was like, where's my parcel? Where's my parcel? And the finance officer had walked off with a big load of parcels. So the lady in reception phoned her and said, bring that parcel back, it's not yours. I can only imagine what she would have thought if she'd actually got around to opening it. So, I don't know how easy it is going to be to show you. And I have to say, they didn't come like this. This is me having emptied all of the little boxes. So I need to get myself some storage for these. But there are just, you just grab a handful. There are just the most beautiful, beautiful colours. Okay, and I've grabbed a handful and now I can't actually show them. There we go. What I think I'm going to do, because I'm going to be doing Flossmas again this year, And I will have an advent calendar from the Patchwork Rabbit, because they did an advent calendar this year. But what I think I might do is start just showing you a few of these every day in Flossmas as well, so you get a better look. Grab one more bundle. You get a better look at some of the colours. That, I have to say, is one of my favourite colours. It's a really, really dark purple. It is 1189. So for those of you who don't know Sulky, they're the 12 weights. So the 12 weight is pitched at being 2 strands of DMC. I personally think it's just under 2 strands of DMC, because I find 2 strands of DMC a little bit tight on 36 count, whereas I absolutely love Sulky on 36 count. In terms of the cost of Sulky, now I've had this conversation with somebody who lives in America before, and I think the price for a Sulky is probably about the same, but the comparison to DMC is really different to how it is in the UK. So 1 spool of Sulky is 46 metres. 46 metres. So if you're going to buy a skein of DMC and you're going to use 2 strands, that's going to give you 24 metres of stitching thread, because they're 8 metres long each, and you're going to get 3 lots of 2 strands out of 1 skein. So you're going to get 24 metres of stitching thread. And in the UK, a DMC, the cheapest is about 68 pence. Most expensive, I've paid £1.30 before, in a little sort of shop in a village, £1.30. So these are 90 pence. So they work out, you get about twice as much thread for 90 pence. So for us in the UK, I think that they are a really cost-effective solution. Those are the petite spools. You can get the king spools as well, which are, where's my black one? £2.70, I think. And these have, is it 300 metres? I'm sure it probably says somewhere on here, and I'm not saying it. 270 metres, 270 metres. So that's those. So I cannot wait to use those and to do a few colour changes and to just really, really enjoy them. I've got an idea of how I'm going to store them, a box, particular type of box. So yeah, I can't wait to get that. Right, I think, just looking around at the chaos that is ensuing, that I've covered everything. I will be back next week. I will be back to my normal weekly updates, and it will be Flossmas before we know it, so I will be doing that again. So until next week, stay safe and stay classy, stitchers.